Nitrile and vinyl synthetic gloves are the main types of exam gloves used by the NHS. Gloves are manufactured thousands of miles away, passing through many production processes before reaching the UK. The journey starts with the NHS supply chain, with ordering placed many months in advance. The order is processed 6,500 miles away at factories in East Asia. Nitrile synthetic gloves are comprised of the chemicals acrylonitrile and butadiene. Unlike natural rubber, acrylonitrile and butadiene are derived from crude oil. The oil well can be thousands of miles away from the glove factory. Specialists are present throughout extraction and transportation, as mishandling can wreak environmental havoc. Crude oil is pumped into large ships, where it starts its journey towards land. It is then transported to refinement facilities via pipeline, rail or tanker. The refinery separates the oil using heat through an extensive process of fractional distillation. The derivative products are separated and stored in tanks. Butadiene and acrylonitrile are shipped to the rubber factory to be processed further. The chemicals are carefully monitored as they move through a range of extractors and reaction chambers up to 400 meters long. Once processed, the synthetic rubber is cut into large blocks, ready for distribution. A constant supply is imperative to meeting the world's demand for single-use gloves. The rubber enters the production cycle of the glove factory, where an endless loop of ceramic hands create molds to which the rubber adheres. The molds first enter a bath of nitric acid and water to wash off residues and contaminants. Then into a bath of filtered water to remove the nitric acid and any remaining particles. Between processes, the molds are warmed with hot air to dispel water. The ceramic molds are then brushed to ensure a perfectly clean surface. These processes require many litres of water and chemicals, so the baths must be regularly replenished to maintain quality. To increase sustainability, the factory passes the dirty water through filters. Chemical agents clump together residue and others break down materials too small to filter. The water then passes through a fluidized sand bed and lastly a biological gravel bed, ready to be reused. However, much of this water is unsuitable for glove production, so must return to government treatment facilities. 24-hour production means the factories need continuous supplies of water, sometimes leading to water shortages. Year-round production can cause filtration standards to drop, leading to possible groundwater contamination. Once the preparation process is complete, the molds are finally clean enough to make gloves. A special treatment of calcium carbonate and calcium nitrate coats the molds, which help the rubber coagulate. The molds are finally dipped into the liquid rubber solution for the exact amount of time required to form the correct thickness. On exiting the bath, excess rubber drips off and the glove begins to take shape. The mold rotates in a heating chamber where it cures into its final form. At the end of the production line, operatives take over, as there are no machines that can strip the gloves off the molds as carefully or efficiently. Large teams fold the gloves to enable continuous dispensing when packed. Robots cannot match the efficiency and precision of a human hand, so this is the most labor-intensive part of the production process. There are as many workers in the packing section as there is in the rest of the factory combined. Once the dispensers have been filled, they are packed into larger boxes, which are then packed into shipping containers. To reduce shipping costs, orders are shipped in bulk, often taking up to 6 weeks to fulfill. Once full, the containers are transported to port, where they are loaded onto large vessels. The NHS needs around 200 containers worth of supplies per shipment, approximately 4,000 every year. The large, fully loaded ships take up to 6 weeks to travel the 6,500 miles to the UK. Arriving after many weeks at sea, the shipment is unloaded and transported to distribution centres. The NHS supply chain organises every NHS hospital's needs, with shipments sorted and allocated across a vast chain of deliveries happening every day. Workers unload the bulk shipment by hand onto wooden crates and then stored. NHS supply chain sorts and arranges delivery for the required quantity of gloves to each destination. Drivers load their vans for delivery to hospitals across the country, usually at night. The deliveries are packed into the required quantities, sometimes as low as a single box of 200 gloves. The hospital teams then deliver the packages to wards and departments. It has been 12 weeks and the gloves have finally reached their destination. Gloves are integral to providing safe interactions between patients and nurses. Nurses do not need to worry about cross-contamination due to the glove factory's stringent processes and the workers' precise handling. Every year, the NHS uses 1.7 billion nitrile gloves, costing around £48 million. Once used, the gloves are disposed of as domestic, offensive or clinical waste. If placed in the incorrect bin, they go to landfill or are incinerated, causing unnecessary pollution.